there's a huge market out there. I don't know if you guys know, but start looking up things like how do people make money on TikTok? How do people make money on YouTube? And then don't just type that. Type in how much, and then actually do a little bit of research. And you might be surprised that, like, dude, even on a podcast, if you gain a lot of following just on TikTok, now that's a revenue stream too.
The economy is crashing and burning. You won't be able to sell your house. And then he put a fake hand in there, like a plastic hand. He's like, hey, let me give you a hand. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. I am Coach Joseph Kerr with Action Coach South Kansas City, and
I'm Jared Taylor with JT Visuals without the I, because there's more than meets the eye. And wow. Oh, man.
You just spilled your coffee.
Dang.
See, I was trying to figure out how to go from there, how to segue, but had a perfect opportunity to just make fun of him about his coffee.
And like a lot of people in the entrepreneur world, they're out there just spilling their coffee.
Metaphorically and actually,
Yeah.
right? So today we have a pretty good topic to talk about. I think that's going to go a lot of different ways. And we're really wanting some interaction on the comments, please. So if you're watching this and you hear this intro, just be prepared. Please put some comments. We're going to give some of our experience and our opinions on this subject, but we also want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
You know, things that you won and lost at with this topic and things that you know. So it's all about how entrepreneurs make mistakes digitally, right? Whether it's through the social media platform, Google, website, all this kind of stuff. We're going to talk about some common mistakes that are made and also how we can improve in those areas. And Jared is actually a fantastic person to talk to about this because this is kind of like your thing.
Yeah.
You're a videographer, but you are a marketing genius, in my opinion, a marketing genius. And I've actually had the honor of coaching so many companies. So although I'm not a marketing genius, I know so much about marketing because I see the good, the bad, the ugly, and I have to coach through it. So with that being said, that is why we want interaction. I'm pretty sure you want some interaction because it can actually get this topic going.
And we could make a follow-up on next episode and everything, or directly comment back, you know, and that gives you direct value based on just listening to the podcast.
Yeah. So just to position what the Entrepreneur Experience Podcast is all about, it's for the business owner, you watching, you listening, whether you are considering starting a business, you are just in the startup phase, you are beyond startup, or you're a rugged veteran entrepreneur, right? The podcast, the Entrepreneur Experience Podcast, is all about talking about business topics. So that way there's hope for you guys watching or listening. Because let's face it, Jared, you know how lonely business could be, right?
Yes.
It's a very lonely road because...
And sometimes you like it, but then that you realize, oh man, that loneliness didn't get me anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's lonely because how many of your friends who are not entrepreneurs know exactly what you're going through when you talk to them about it? How much help that's complimentary is out there to help you walk through this journey called entrepreneurship, right? How many mistakes have you already made and how insecure do you feel about those? And who do I talk to?
Yeah.
Right? And so when we bring these topics up, it's really there to help you hear a story, hear what's going on, maybe find some blinding flashes of the obvious, you know, put some action steps together. But we're just going to lay it all out and let you give yourself some action steps. How about that?
Yes, I like
All
that.
right.
I think that sounds fun. So I know for me, I can speak on the content creation side of things a lot more.
Yeah.
And I've found this to be an area of not really pet peeve. What would be the opposite of that? Passion? Like, what's like, man, I see this all the time and I just want to help people. Instead of I see this all the time and I'm annoyed. You know what I mean?
Huh.
I don't know what word that would be.
It's not pet peeve, but it's
like,
let's
man,
find out what somebody has to say.
I'm so passionate about this. Well, I see this all the time in a lot of video content creation. There's also some social media content creation. Marketing's a really huge area. And it's like, what do you mean marketing? Like, if you can ever ask anybody that, like, okay, marketing's broad, what's your focus, you know? Because marketing could be making a website, but marketing could also be making $1 million commercials, you know, on Super Bowl, you know, and comes with a full team.
Yeah.
So marketing's really broad. It could be networking, right?
Right. Well,
So
do you think we should probably define marketing? Like, because there's also this thing called branding
right.
and marketing, and they both sound kind of the same, but kind of not.
We'll just say I think the way that you describe it is really well.
Okay. So, branding and marketing. Branding is about how the people around you see your product, service, or thing that you're selling, how they perceive the value, what their definition is based off of the physical things that they see and how you basically express your value. And marketing is the different ways you communicate that to your prospective clients, right?
Yes.
So branding is how people see you, marketing is how you tell or who you tell, basically
Hmm.
about your brand. That's just in general, like basic simple terms, but branding is how people see you and the story that they get just by seeing your value. Marketing is the different areas that you communicate that brand, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And I think some people have said like branding's more like the feel, how people feel.
Yeah. It's the
And then
the
yeah,
emotion they get.
yep. And then the marketing's just communicating that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be extremely broad.
Mhm.
And I think some of the areas Coach Joe will bring with mistakes that he sees
Yeah.
really well. And there's other people that like maybe you're an SEO expert, search engine optimization, all that. We had a past episode about it. It was really good.
Yeah. With David Jackson,
David
right?
Jackson,
With
yep.
Techie, yeah.
So go listen to that. But maybe you're one of those guys, and then you're thinking through your scope of
Mhm.
here's 3 common things that I see all the time when it comes to digital, what do we say? Digital content,
Yeah,
right?
digital content in
Digital
general.
marketing.
Yeah.
So for me and my angle, the one that I speak to the most is the actual creative part
Mm.
where you're making the content. Because anybody can say, hey, you need a video, we're going to do this with the video. But not anybody can say, here's how you make your video, and here's what you should say in the video,
Mm.
and here's how you look in the video, and here's how, it feels. And so that's
Yeah.
harder, and that's our specialty more
Yeah.
as like
Can I
the
jump in on
creative.
that really
Yeah.
quick? Because one of the mistakes in the realm of what you just talked about that I see so much is people throw content out just to throw content out.
Hmm.
And although that's good with just visibility, I see so many people become so inconsistent with their brand or even go so far away from their brand because the effort of just putting videos out and content and post up become the number one priority.
So there we go. There's the number one.
Yeah, what you
That's
do
our
so
first thing.
well, though, I know that you coached me through this when I started video, is you're like, well, what's your brand? What are you trying to say? Who's going to watch this? Who do you want to watch this? And based off of that, how do you need to come across? Having somebody like Jared or, let's say you're not here in Kansas City and you have your own videographer or you're looking for one or just a content specialist, those questions are really important for them to ask to guide their clients into
Yeah.
putting. So I guess the
And then it
biggest
helps the
mistake is not
brainstorm.
getting the right person to represent your brand.
I mean, yeah.
It can kind of
I
come
mean,
down to that,
I have not doing
Yeah.
anything is the worst. Like
Okay,
that's
yes, I agree with that. Not doing
Yeah.
anything is one of the biggest mistakes.
because how many I get like this in seasons too. I'll confess,
Well-
it's like there's you have good intentions, and it's almost as if you've made the plans in your head, but then you just don't do it.
You know
You know?
what causes people to stop that I've experienced is the pursuit of getting a perfect product out. So analysis paralysis kicks in.
Oh,
Right? I gotta have the perfect marketing plan. We're not even marketing experts, right? And we put it out. I heard something. Consistency is way better than perfection.
Oh, that's really good.
So
Say that again, man.
consistency is way better. Sorry, I was preaching. Than
You're gonna make me
perfection. I
choke
started
on coffee.
preaching over here. Consistency is better than perfection. Because number one, you'll never get a perfect product out there, a perfect brand, a perfect marketing campaign. Because if you're trying to chase perfection, you'll always want to change what you just created,
Or you'll never release it.
or you'll never release it because you're not happy with it. Dude, if you know me, I just throw stuff out now. I don't care.
Yeah.
Perfect or not, it just goes out, right?
You just kind of
It
learn as
goes
you
out.
go.
I've built a decent brand here in Kansas City where sometimes I'm walking, people are like, Coach Joe, I'm like, oh, at a grocery store, right?
Yeah.
I'm not famous by all means. However, I know that my stuff is really accentuating and improving my brand to where people are seeing it that I don't even know. And I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me is it's just going out and it's starting to get into
It's
more eyeball. It's
visibility.
visibility, yeah.
And you're gaining some credibility too because they're seeing you as the expert in a certain area, especially when it's like you always see that it's action coach, like in the post or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So they know, like then it's like branding. And that actually leads me to another mistake that I see all the time, like in videos and all that, is like over branding. It's like, dude, you're
Oh.
putting this on social media. And when I say over branding, I mean like put our logo here, put our logo here, put our logo here. We want this, we want that. And it's like, dude, you don't have to do all that.
Mhm.
If you know the use case of your video, which primarily is on some sort of digital social media platform,
Yep.
they can see the captions and they can see your profile picture.
Yep.
So if your profile picture is your logo for your brand,
That should be
then
enough in
dude,
some cases, yeah.
like, yeah. I mean, you can flash it and everything on a video, but there's a tasteful way to do it. And if people just see, one time someone said, hey, you should, like, I was kind of debating another marketing company one time and I didn't agree with what they were telling me to do on the videos.
Mhm.
I got their intentions, but it was like, start from black, cut into 2 seconds, and then start with the logo. And that's the only changes we need in the video.
Mhm.
And then end with call us at or whatever, something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the problem was the primary purpose of the content was to be on social media.
Mhm.
So on social media, the goal is to stop the scroll. If you're stopping the scroll, you're not going to stop anything if you have 1 to 2 seconds of just fading in. You know what I mean? You gotta,
Yeah.
like, you don't want to do any of that on video content. You want to get straight to like a hook, a
Yeah.
question. And if you start with a logo, then someone's going to be like, oh, someone's trying to sell me something.
Well, we're
You know?
guilty of it. Like, how many of us are always on Reels just doing this? And like the first few seconds of videos are just popping up until something's or someone says something in the video or shows something in the video that causes us to stop in our tracks, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so talking about social media, because you're absolutely right when it comes to the actual creation part of things. Something that we have to consider is, who's watching our stuff? Like
Absolutely.
who are the people that's supposed to watch our content? Who are we trying to stop in their tracks, right?
Yeah.
On the reels, and we have to really create content that caters to that. It's like in business. It's like, don't treat people the way you want to be treated. Treat them the way they need to be treated. Right? Because business is about people, it's about money, it's about all those things. So if it's really about that, like if you're really trying to get a certain audience to either engage with you on social media or even buy from you on social media, what is it going to be that you put on there or say or do to get them to stop scrolling? Because even that's the reason why reels are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, because people's attention span's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So you have to have an attention grabber.
Yeah.
And you have to, in order to do that, you have to know who you're trying to get to watch this and
serve a higher purpose too.
Exactly.
Well, did you know that people are also at the same, it's weird. They're simultaneously hungry for longer form as well. Just not like super long form. Like no one wants to watch a 2-hour thing.
Oh,
if
no.
you did a live stream and you repost it, if you get one person, then I guess it didn't hurt. But if you really wanted to reach more people, you're going to cut that live stream up.
Yeah.
And make it into something that's like search engine optimized or curiosity optimized. Like title it something different. Don't give it a normal title. Like I'm thinking of like churches a lot right now, but I know a lot of us in businesses do the same things. And so you don't want to be like, for us, the entrepreneur experience is a really cool title. Like let's pretend that's what we titled our live stream. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. What would mean something to someone is if we title it like how to gain more followers on Facebook or something like that. So you title just simply by retitling, you can do so much, and then you just condense it to get straight into it.
That's for the long
remove
form,
the
right?
fluff. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's repurposing a live stream.
I like he said people want long form, just not too long.
Yeah.
Right. I think of the podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast. I mean, some podcasts are like 2, 3, 4 hours long. If you watch the whole thing,
If you're good, you can get away with it. You just got to be self-aware, you know.
Well, his stuff is so good, but what I typically watch are the reels, the short snips, the quantum socials that he does. And then anytime there's a good topic, I'll watch the 5 to 10 minute version of just that one segment. And I think, I don't want to misquote, but I read somewhere that he gets more views on his short film and all that kind of stuff than he does people watching the entire. First of all, who has 4 hours? But for him, it's content creation. It's 4 hours. Watch it if you want to, but I'm going to put small snippets out to really get a big following. And, you know, it's strategy at the same time, too.
Yeah. Man, that is there's a huge market out there. I don't know if you guys know, but start looking up things like, how do people make money on TikTok? How do people make money on YouTube? And then don't just type that. Type in how much, and then actually do a little bit of research. And you might be surprised that, like, dude, even on a podcast, if you gain a lot of following just on TikTok, now that's a revenue stream too, even just from keeping people on the platform. So it's like that, like, if you really get serious.
So is that a mistake, not monetizing your efforts?
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you just got to get there.
I think for me, like on a business perspective, it's just put stuff out. Make sure it represents your brand well, but just start putting content out, videos, long, short form. Hire, invest in a good videographer so you can have a mixture of that organic stuff, also, but also some really good things, and just have those. Like, you do this thing called quantum socials. He'll sit with you for 10 minutes or an hour, depending on how much you invest, and he could cut those videos into, like,
those are.
I bet you a 1 hour interview that you do, or just a talk, you could find hundreds of videos, both somewhat longer form, like 5-10 minute videos, and quantum socials, which are like 30-second to 1 minute videos.
Yeah, depending on how long we recorded the long form. Like, I think on average, like, our podcasts here,
30
for about an hour, we can get 14 to 16 clips from it. So,
that's
plus
without even trying.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So you could easily, like, the quantum social sessions, when you come into those are more like, okay, we are going for social media clips. So we're not just creating a long show and happen to have clips. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But people do like the mixture of fly in the wall versus direct. So it's good to have a mixture, and you do what Coach Joe says all the time: test and measure.
Test and measure, baby.
So you just see what your audience.
Well, that's another mistake. People don't test and measure.
Boom, there we go.
They get, and they're like, okay, this is what my guys want to watch, so I'm going to put it out there. And they're like, why isn't anybody liking or interacting? Or, well, did you measure? And did you test and measure those type of videos or content to see if that's what your qualified market leads actually want to see? Right?
Do you ever hear people go like, man, I heard some bad feedback on this, but it was really from your mom and your sister or something, and it wasn't even from your potential client? Do you ever hear that?
Or from a red flag client?
Oh, yeah. So.
Oh, you want to tell that story?
No.
No? Okay, because that person might be watching, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Only... So another thing that I've seen on, speaking of social media, is only asking. So
emphasize on that.
So I've been thinking of this thing in business where you kind of got to just romance people a little bit, you know? Throw, like, that's what keeps coming up in my head, is like, throw a little romance into it instead of just going straight for the
jugular.
The ask. Or, yeah. I was going to say jugular, yeah.
I like that.
But I switched it to ask.
Okay.
But then you said it, so it works.
Jugular.
So just putting too much and making too much ask on social media, that's the first thing people do naturally is, hey, I got a special deal, book with me. Or like, hey, we're taking bookings now. And then you get some shares, maybe a little bit, but it's just from people who are trying to support you and pass your info along. So it can kind of work. But at the same time, how much better would it work if you just, created value for that person?
Yeah.
And then from the value, you can leverage that later. Alex Hormozy, a lot of us listening probably know him.
Marketing genius, yeah.
Dude, on his social media, he actually says that he never makes an ask. He just says people will become fans and they'll just find it. Like they'll look you up and want to book with you just because you're so present and you give so much value out. So
no, that's amazing. I agree with him. in a lot of ways. I actually had somebody reach out to me twice, I think this year, and they're just like, your content was so rich and so good. I just started a business. Would love to have a sit down talk with you.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I'm like, well, okay. If you guys know me, I don't typically work with newer businesses. I kind of give small little segmented coaching sessions, but it's because of budgets and things like that. But still, like the content was so good. You know what that caused me and my team to want to do? An online coaching course. So that way it's an affordable option for somebody to start. So we're actually working on that now.
Hey, I think you have a membership plan with a video content guy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You've actually pre-shot some things too.
Yep.
Is actually, that part of the beginner one?
Yeah. It's that.
Okay.
It's the online course. I mean, it was geared towards startups and people like just starting their business because it's a lower price point to come in, and because I can't spend one-to-one time, but I mean anybody can buy into that. But yeah, a lot of it is his videos.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking at like marketing or content stuff in that regard, like a big mistake I always see is you're just over, not you, but like people will over intro stuff or they over expository. Like, I don't know if in movies you've ever seen it, but someone can over say a situation rather than just be in the situation and show instead of tell, that's a film rule. It's called show, don't tell. But it's because you're using the art of video and you can show it.
Just tell me.
Like instead of saying, hey, Dad, I remember that time when you were overseas in the Army and you got your leg blown off and got that medal, not Medal of Honor, but whatever it was. But for me fixing my cereal, it has nothing to do with that. That's kind of an expository example in a dialogue. If you're tracking what I'm saying is, don't over-explain it. In the film world, what they would do instead is show maybe like pictures or something right before as other dialogue is happening, because it's like you should just already be in it.
Yeah.
And then you can conclude that, and then it makes it a better piece of film for that. And I think it's the same way for like courses or for Facebook videos and stuff. It's not to over exposition your topic or whatever. So a good example of that is like, I think of some real estate people.
Okay.
So if you're in the real estate world, listen up.
Listen.
When
the master talking.
You know that when you're in the real estate world, that making video content is very important. But what you're saying at the beginning of your video is not very interesting usually.
Yeah.
Unless you're like some guy that starts with high energy, and I've seen that and it's really good. But if you're saying, hey, TikTok, just wanted to get on here and update you with things that are happening in the market, like boom, already scrolled away. Like if you do an introduction, people are already scrolling, and that first 1 second is the most important.
Right.
And
it's as far like I could.
So instead of saying that, just be you. And if you want to introduce yourself, you can at the end after you give them value. You just got to get straight to it.
Yeah.
And just
I know that I could see the two videos right now. I know two different realtors. I won't say their names.
Yeah.
Awesome people. But one's like, market update. Da, da, da. It's like so boring. And the other one's like, the economy is crashing and burning. You won't be able to sell your house. Wait, just joking. But still, you know what I mean? It's like they got them to stop. It's
that second one's a little more engaging. Yep.
Yeah, I've been a realtor for 10 years. I've never seen anything like this. And then it's like, wait, but hold on. Just joking. Got your attention. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you almost cut to just what it means to the person watching.
Oh, there's a famous realtor that's a rapper. He's a Hispanic guy, I think, in Texas. And he just does like real estate rapping. It's so funny because like he'll do that and people want to book with him because of the cool content that he puts out there. It's the way he does it is genius. Yeah.
And then this person, when they're putting out that kind of content, because it's entertainment, now they can release it to a larger audience that's not even shopping for homes or realtors or anything. And then that makes his TikTok or whatever channel it's on another stream of income for him.
Yeah.
So he's not just making money on the sale. He's making money on being entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is
not
a win-win.
to mention, that person, that realtor, for this example, would come off as an expert in their field because of how social media is perceiving them to be. How many other realtors from around the United States will call and be like, hey, can you coach me and I'll pay you? right? Like that's another area to do it because now you're an expert and it's nothing that nobody else knows. Just coming from you, it's like, oh, okay. I've
Yeah.
always known to do that. Now I'll actually go and do it. That's kind of cool to be a coach because that's typically what it is. Like I
Huh.
already knew that, but now that I'm telling you, go do it, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. So there was a lot of mistakes in that one. I don't know if we
Yeah.
can kind of go back, but I guess the whole point is, I think the revolving thing here for just at least the video and content that you're putting out is do it. Like the biggest
Yeah.
mistake is not doing anything. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be perfect or don't try to be perfect. Just
Mhm.
start being consistent. So it's consistency over perfection, testing and measuring, right? Because if you start putting content out, you're immediately going to test and measure it. Collect that data, find out what people like, what don't like, content that really gets people engaged, and then start doing more of that. I mean, at least that's
Yeah.
a good start right there, right? Finding a mentor, whether it's a professional content creator, videographer, or whatever, that not just says, okay, let's record. What do you want to record? But walks you through that,
Yeah.
you
Which we
get
do
more-
that if you're in the KC area.
yeah, if you're the KC area, obviously Jared does that very, very well. And then going right back to the whole just consistency, just do it. Just do it consistently.
Yeah.
And put it out there. You don't know what is out there that can help with an opportunity, whether it's a new potential lead, a new potential client, more interaction on your social media to where now you become social media influencer like, and you can start making money off of this stuff. There's so many things that you can put out there.
Dude, and even some people are like, man, I don't want to be on camera all the time, but they kind of want to be an influencer, but not be an influencer. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So one time I spoke with someone that was a baker and she was like that. She's like, but I'm like, dude, well, you got it easy. You just decorate your cupcakes and then pair it with
show your
podcast clips and
hands.
everything. Like, yeah. Like
voiceovers.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
super easy. You just got to actually do it.
Do you know what my 8-year-old daughter, she watches this Australian lady. It's like a video of her making like these Lego toys and she's just voicing over it. Like,
Oh, yeah?
how she does it.
Okay.
This lady made like millions of views. And every like 7 minutes, there's an ad that pops up. I'm like, I know she's making money off of that. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Which, by the way, like if you got 1 million views on YouTube and you're monetized just from YouTube alone, that's close to $10,000 for that one video.
I don't know, but still,
I think it is.
It's amazing. I think it depends, but yeah, that's right around there.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. But okay,
And that's
cool.
per million.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to address the marketing plan.
All right.
Right? Because I know that we want to talk about mistakes on the digital side of things. But the mistake that I really want to bring to the table is this. The mistake that a lot of people do marketing and digitally is that they only have digital marketing as a marketing strategy.
Ooh.
Right? You have a website,
Okay.
great. SEO, great. Google ads, great. Facebook ads, great. Social media everywhere, great. But then that's it. Right? Like, how do you get people outside of the boundaries of that? Because there's a certain type of people that will buy your product, your service, your skill, whatever, that are probably not on the digital platforms or might not find you on a digital platform.
Or they want some sort of personal approach.
Or they want a personal approach, or everything's going good, and then Google and Facebook decide to change their algorithms,
Yeah.
which happens all the time, right? So the leads that you're getting are drying up because all you're doing is digital. And when I say you, I'm generalizing. But there are a lot of entrepreneurs, the majority of them actually, that only have 2, maybe 3 forms of marketing strategies, and they're all within the digital aspect of things. Right? Well, what about networking? What about strategic referral partners? What about, those things that force you to create relationship? Because social media and Google and websites can only do so much to really, really communicate a brand. Sometimes your brand is how you handle people, how you come across, right? You have to kind of complement that brand on a physical aspect of things. But there's so many people that this is what you do, you're ignoring and have potential with because you're only focused on digital marketing. That's a big mistake.
And that's like initial marketing too. Like, can you imagine like if you're trying to follow up with someone who kind of had an interaction or something, like if you like pair the both of them, like dude, one time Rose and I, we went to the roastery in Kansas City and toured it, and then we got engaged in the parking lot.
Ooh.
And we posted a photo. This is the digital part, and someone found it from the roastery. So for one, who on your social media platform is not just like putting stuff out there, but also like looking stuff up and liking and all of that stuff too? And for two, they're like, hey, congratulations, DM us with your address. We want to send you a gift. And then they sent us a gift, and there's the physical aspect.
What was the gift?
Dude, it was mugs and coffee.
Huh.
And it was like, dude, okay. We love this coffee, and they did this.
Now we're
locked in.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's still our favorite.
Really? The roasteries?
Yeah, the roastery's our favorite coffee. There's some good other coffee, but it's the roastery's good.
I'm a little picky with my coffee.
Well, they got different kinds, too.
And here I am drinking a Spirit coffee.
Yeah, which who knows what that is.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's like dark water.
Yeah, but I was thinking, too, like, in your marketing, like, instead of, like, change it up and write someone a handwritten note or something, like,
yes.
Physical.
Goes a long way. I know for us, whenever we have clients, we have many businesses, but our clients and our vendors, if we know it's their birthday, we'll handwrite a birthday card.
Yeah.
Because if we have clients and vendors that buy from us, they're still a client because I want them to keep coming back.
Right?
Yep. So, yeah, we do that.
That's good. And you had like an opening gift too.
We have
like when you start.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's a little tool that'll help you, and it's like a timer, and it's actually
it's a pretty awesome timer.
It's
still on your desk.
Yeah. it's like we call it the focus eliminator.
Oh, distraction.
Or distraction focus. You don't want to eliminate focus.
Okay, so if you guys know this guy's coaching sessions, he's always trying to get away from actually the focus part of things. No, I'm joking. He said focus eliminator. I'm like, no, it's a distraction eliminator. We need to focus.
I'm the kind of person that's like, I go in, I'm like, I don't want to talk about me. Let's talk about you. Yeah.
It's so funny because so our last coaching session, I think it was yesterday, right? Our coaching session.
It was today.
It was today. So okay. Well, the funny thing is I have just as much ADHD as you do. Right? But because I'm a coach, I really have to suppress it and bring up my, and so when I'm in there, I'm like in my head thinking, I do the exact same thing, but I got to get on coach mode.
And sometimes I get you down those traps.
Oh
but
my gosh.
You set me back. It's good. It's good to have accountability and everything. I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love coaching because it allows me to be creative with other clients as well, not just with my own stuff, but it helps there.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, so do you agree with me? A huge mistake people make is that digital is their only form of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, because like it could just be so much more powerful if you did both.
Yeah.
Like we aren't in the either or world. We're in the both and, because remember in the past it used to be like if you got an email, it was awesome. But if you got regular snail mail, it was like, oh, just another thing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much mailer marketing and stuff. And then it switched, and now we're all like like people have emails that are just for their junk email or something, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like to cut through the mix is very difficult on email marketing. But if you took time and even spent money to be able to send mailers to all those people too, especially if it's handwritten, and even then, you still apply the rule that I apply to social media is give value to them. So, I mean, hey, okay, look, this is crazy. I'm not saying that everyone should do this, but what if you had your 10 best prospects and all you did was send a mailing gift? I guess it could be digital, but you send a gift card of something you picked up that you know that they like. And you say, hey, I was thinking about you, just wanted to, I don't know. What?
That'd be, if I got that in the mail from somebody who's been stalking me, I think that'd be weird and cool at the same time. It would definitely it would get my attention.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the audience, but it's like, hey, at the very least,
I heard a story
here's
of
a tea on us.
Who was doing like just really out of the box marketing, and he found his top I don't know, let's say 20 people that he wanted to reach out to locally. Well, he bought this little box and it was like some packets or something that talked about his business, but it was no, actually, sorry, an invitation to a seminar. And then he put a fake hand in there, like a plastic hand. He's like, "Hey, let me give you a hand and suggest you come to my seminar." I mean, it was such a funny thing. I think he got like 3 or 4 people out of that, though. I don't know how many
That's
became clients.
interesting.
However, if you're in the world of professional speaking and creating events and getting people to come to your events, you know that it's not an easy thing to do.
Mm.
Is to get people to come to an event, let alone pay for it. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a cool story that all the coaches talked about in Action Coach.
Huh.
I think this person was, I don't know. I don't think it was in the United States, but it was still a funny story. But we're like, oh, whoa.
What's good with that is like when you pair something in your personality and you use it as value, then it really works well. Meaning that hand created laughter,
Mhm.
which is an emotion that we forget about. And it's one of our favorite emotions
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Oh,
So if you're funny, it's revealing your personality a little bit,
mhm.
which actually says something about your credibility as
Yeah.
a brand.
Actually, humor is something people appreciate.
Yeah.
So something like that. There was another coach. Oh, here's another story. He put a Rubik's Cube in there and said, "Does your business feel as chaotic as this Rubik's Cube? Let me help you bring order to it so that way all the stuff can match," or
Huh.
something like that. Like, um,
Huh.
another one put a flashlight with the Action Coach logo on there and said, "When your business has seasons of darkness, let me be the light," or something like that.
Oh.
The shine, I don't know. So it was just,
Yeah.
it was kind of cool. But those things grab people's attention.
Yeah, and they might go, huh, and then not use it, but it's like, dude, they'll remember
They'll
a
have a
little more.
flashlight with your logo on there, and I mean, at least it wasn't like, oh, threw it away, right?
Mm, yeah. So that's cool.
Mhm.
Man, what's the weirdest stuff that you've gotten in the mail? Let us know in the comments. But, maybe you have to filter some things if it's that weird. But
We probably just made a big mistake asking people to do that.
well, based on a
Business related,
business.
okay, not personal
Yeah.
related. So, oh man, look, there are so many more mistakes that we can probably just list
Yeah,
down the
we
road.
can
But
list a bunch.
frankly, like, if you're an entrepreneur watching this, which I assume you are because it's the entrepreneur experience. However, you might not be. You might be thinking about it, right? Um, these mistakes that we wanted to bring to the surface is not to say, oh, people are doing things stupidly. It's just saying, look, there's other ways that's been proven, and because we care about you, let me bring this to your attention and do everything you can to avoid it. However, if you do find yourself in these traps, like, oh, you know what, Coach Joe and Jared told me not to do this, or it's part of the podcast, but fix it. Just fix it.
Yeah.
The cool thing about marketing is you can always evolve it. Marketing is not a
Yeah.
one size fits all.
Resilience.
And frankly, you can come up with the best marketing plan with the best advisors and the best people in the industry and still get it wrong. All you do is you test and measure, you get the results. Based off of those results, you course correct. Right?
Yeah.
Data doesn't care about feelings. It just tells you what happened. It gives you a story. You read the story, you interpret it, and you make your best judgment from there.
Yep.
That's marketing.
And I'll tell you, if you're videoing yourself doing selfies, by the time you put down the camera and you just talk to someone else, or, depending on what room you're in, like if right now Joe's in here and then I start recording a selfie video and then I stop recording, I'm gonna be more real right after it. So,
Here we
he's
go.
gonna do it. Okay.
Crap, how do I do it? Do I just push
You
the
swipe over to video. You're on
video?
photo.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, this is another big mistake, is you gotta clean the lens.
Oh,
Wipe
crap.
it if you do it mobile, wipe it down every time, because seeing those smears, man. All right.
Here we are. See?
Hey, we're on the Entrepreneur
What's
Experience podcast,
up?
and we're talking about common mistakes that people make as a
digitally.
business digitally, from content creation to marketing, whatever it is.
Yep. And we're doing this live. Or actually, that's not live. It's a recording.
We're
Hey,
live.
guys.
Yeah, well,
Live right now.
live recording.
We're recording our Entrepreneur Experience podcast. So if you get this before you see the podcast, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Entrepreneur Experience. We're also on Spotify and Apple.
Yes,
right?
We're on all of it.
And we get
Let's
this
go.
dude. All right. Peace out. Just like that.
But usually what happens is then you laugh and then you say something else. And whatever you say after if you're not like well versed into being a content creator, it's like
Oh,
way more engaging.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you do an interview and then you stop recording, then they say all the stuff.
Oh, dude,
Have
hate
you ever
that.
experienced that?
Yes.
Like you're going out the door and then now they're sharing the really good stuff.
Yeah. It's like I watch these movies and there's something's going on. I was like, why the heck didn't you just say this? And then I find myself in the same situation about a month or two. I'm like, oh, that's why, because I'm under pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I hope this helps, guys. I really hope that you got something out of it. Again, subscribe to our channel. If you're stumbling upon this podcast and you think it's pretty cool, watch our old stuff. I mean, we're fairly new, so it's not like you have to shuffle through hundreds of episodes, but maybe 20,
Yeah.
The first couple are our stories, so you can get to know who we are as hosts of the Entrepreneur Experience. But then, is this all about you? It's all about giving value to you guys. So do us a favor, like, subscribe,
leave a comment.
Give us a 5-star review. Send it to your people that you know are entrepreneurs. Just share the love. We'd really appreciate that.
Especially if you can go to YouTube and do all of that. That will help us a lot more too. So,
because we also want to make money off of this. Let's just be real.
Make money giving value. So free to you. Fun for us. Pays back. We can do more time.
Yep.
I think you get it.
Something I would like to see us start doing, especially when we monetize this, is to give forward to the entrepreneur community.
Oh.
There's a lot, like, for example, I grew up in a very rough neighborhood.
Okay.
Where there was pimps, drug dealers, prostitutes, all the stuff that you could think about. And now that I'm an entrepreneur, I think back, I'm like, these guys are just self-employed. They're just trying to make it. They're probably certified unemployable, not just because of their record, but, because of, their ambition. They're just doing it the wrong way. What if I can go back into these neighborhoods and catch them when they're kids and say, hey, look, we know that you're surrounded with all these things, but let me help you understand entrepreneurship. And how you can become a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure earner, change the course of your family forever, and do it through business. That's kind of been my whole dream of how to give forward. So, anyways, guys, appreciate you very much. Thank you for tuning in. JT, any last words?
Yeah, I was thinking of that give forward thing, and I keep listening to our episodes, make it all the way through. Focus, because one of my ideas, I'll share it with you. If you made it this far, this is your bonus. Next episode, look for this. Listen for it, wherever you are. I'm going to get like an Amazon gift card.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the number on our podcast. It's going to be somewhere mixed in towards the end. So it's not easy to just skip and find. But that way we reward those people that are listening all the way through, and it gives value back to you. It's kind of a way to pay it forward, because you could do quite a bit with Amazon. So
yeah.
But
so when you say the number, how do we pick the winner?
No, we say the number, and it's the first one that types it in gets it.
Oh, in the comments.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, no, not in the comments. Like, I'm telling you the redemption number.
Oh.
And so when you go to Amazon and redeem it, then it's the first to use it.
So do you guys like free money? Okay.
Something along those lines. Because it could be like, look on our socials too. Because I've seen another thing where we could post a QR of a Starbucks and be like, hey, there's $50 on this. Everyone go get yourself some drinks until it's out.
Yeah.
Like, those are the kind of things that I want to do. And then go to deeper levels too. That'd be really cool to be able to pay it forward in higher levels.
Well, we'll start off with free gift cards. How about that?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you very much.
Just remember to keep on keeping on.
Stay strong.